It's 7:35. You just come alive.
Put fork on your fork.
Big Head, the Argonian from the Shivering Isles, has an unhealthy obsession with forks. Every day, like clockwork, he embarks on a fork hunting spree, attacking anyone who dares carry one. Naturally, the guards prong into action and take him out before you even get a chance to chat or finish his quest. I find myself drawn to this character. The single devotion to a goal, that's something I can respect. Takes me back to a time when I too had a noble quest. I tried, with all the dedication I could muster, to save my
The fork is from the Hindenburg the night that it exploded.
fair maiden. Tragically, she mysteriously perished on her journey home. Now, on the run, my only hope is a strange portal that opened nearby on a forsaken island. It will lead me to Big Head and his disquieting obsession. Blamed for the death of my fair maiden? I'd never dream of selling her name. No, that would be far too convenient. The guards naturally believe every ridiculous rumor except my completely reasonable side of the story. So, here I am, forced to flee like the innocent, misunderstood hero I obviously am. I was backed into a corner, no escape in sight. My only hope now? A mysterious portal flickering like a half-formed fort. I had escaped the guards and was finally at peace. For now, at least. As I surveyed my new surroundings, I stumbled upon Big Head.
The fork for Big Head.
And well, you know what they say about guys with big head. The meeting was like a king wizard crossing paths with a fork-obsessed lizard. Naturally, I was pierced by his obsession with forks. So much so that I started following him, like a lost puppy on a culinary quest. But, as I spent my time ethically spectating, I couldn't help but notice that his land was a furnace of raw chaos, ready to boil over at any moment. And sure enough, like clockwork, all hell started to break loose. Once again, I found myself in the oh-so-familiar role of a guardian, forced to occupy someone's space and protect them from the world. Maybe, just maybe, this time, I'd be redeemed for all my previously misguided attempts. My first attempt at protecting Big Head was something. As soon as things went sideways, his first move was to find some guy in a gimp suit and eliminate him. I'm pretty sure that's a hate crime in several countries. Before he could even think about his next target, the full concentrated power of the sun wiped him out in a second. I was just standing there, trying to wrap my head around— oh, the game just crashed. Like a thick head in a narrow doorway, Big Head locked his gaze on the gimp man, and without hesitation set out to end him. Naturally, I followed. Ignore the dead body. As the chaos unfolded around me, I got caught in the crossfire and hit by some kind of spell. Suddenly, I was over-encumbered, my movement sluggish and pathetic. Desperate, I watched as Big Head teetered on the edge of danger while I was quite literally stuck. I wriggled, strained, and fought against the spell with all my might, only to wriggle too much and crash again. At this point, I'm fucking losing it. The game is crashing every second, and the mere sneeze of an NPC is enough to send Big Head into a hostile frenzy. It feels like my limbic system is collapsing in real time, because now there's a floating head following me around. So yeah, now I've got a floating head and Big Head in my life. And then I get sent flying. I stand back up and follow Big Head as I watch him get slaughtered by the entire town. I stand there in disbelief, waiting for the— what, you were expecting to crash again? Nope, not this time. Finally, some peace and quiet. The walk was blissfully free of danger, so we both decided to head to church. We had an enlightening chat with the priest, and then, as one does in the house of God, proceeded to murder an innocent man. Seemed fitting, really. Then we stumbled upon an NPC whose AI had completely given up on life, trapped in an endless loop of walking in circles, probably pondering its own existence. We eventually made it back to the tavern, where of course I got attacked again. But, surprise, I totally didn't die this time. After the usual tavern chaos, we finally made our way back to Big Head's place. My journey was a resounding success, and we both made it back to his home. Pleased with my stellar protection skills, Big Head offered me a quest to collect a powerful fork hidden deep within. I must speak to a beggar to learn more. Well, about time I got rewarded for all of this. As I set out to find the beggar, the streets were a mess of rage and chaos. Blood flowed like some kind of grotesque river, but somehow the beggar was still alive and well. He mentioned the fork was hidden in a camp, So off I went to track down this fabled utensil of destiny. Along the way, I ran into a few shambles. Apparently, they didn't have a bone to pick with me. I eventually reached the camp, only to discover its inhabitants were stuck in a loop of healing themselves. It was like they were trying to outlast me with sheer repetitive determination. I swiftly ended the little circle of self-care and finally found the fork. I have found it. The fork. The fork. Its power courses through me, eating away at my soul in ways I cannot describe. It's so beautiful, so perfect, it's almost hypnotic. Something unknown, and it calls to me. I must return to Big Head to tell him of my discovery. This is it. This is what I've been searching for. The fork, my salvation. I returned to the town, heart pounding, ready to share the ground news. But then, Big Head was nowhere to be found. I asked the guards about him, but they simply stared at me, blank-faced. No one by that name, they said. I stood there, confused. I had to find him. But with every step, the fork, it grew inside me. I could feel it. It's as if the blade was slowly carving into my very thoughts, shaping them into something else entirely, a new kind of hunger, a fork-shaped hunger. I stumbled into Big Head's house, praying that he was there, but nothing. Nothing at all, just a pile of forks. Forks piled high. They glinted in the dim light, shining like a constellation of metal and madness. So beautiful, so perfect. I couldn't resist. I had to touch them, to hold each one. Yes, each one. The truth hit me like a fork in the road. It was so simple, really. For that, mankind is the fork, and the world is our dinner.